What up, cucks? It's the hater. It's Wednesday, which of course means it's time for AEW Dynamite up in this. All right, let's get to it right away, right? Before we do that, I suppose we need to do some subscriber counts, but I don't think any of the new subscribers that we've had, because I didn't do them last video, I don't think any of the new ones have shown up here, but I don't remember. We have Club Bub. That's a new subscriber. I don't think I talked about that guy before up in this bitch. And we got TJ Money 10,000. You know what I'm saying? And Soapy Sins. Welcome, Soapy. You know what I mean? What else we got? I think that's all we got for today. But anyways, what's up, motherfuckers? I hope this day is going well for all of you. You know? It's been a very productive and busy day for your boy. I'm fucking tired. I woke up at like 3 a.m. as I said in my other video. And made that video, but I published it later today, so you guys could have something to watch during work or something. I don't know, you know? I'm going to link that video in the description because I'm going to talk about that video a little bit, because there was a lot of what I said in that video that applies to today, motherfuckers. So, the show starts off pretty quickly, pretty intensely, with Pac versus Kenny Omega in an Iron Man match. Now, I like the fact that it started off with an Iron Man match because, you know, you don't typically get to see Iron Man matches very often. It really is one of those protected matches, right? Everything else you just kind of see now in WWE. You see Hell in a Cell, you know, Rage in a Cage, Penis in the Anus. You see all of those, right? You see, they all have their own pay-per-views, but Iron Man matches, there's no Iron Man pay-per-view. So Iron Man matches are special. Now, when I'm talking about Iron Man matches, I'm talking about WWE Iron Man matches. When I'm saying shut the fuck up, I'm talking about AEW. You understand what I'm saying? This match was all right. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the match was garbage, because it wasn't, right? Like, but elements of it were complete shit. And those elements you're all familiar with. They sound like this. Kenny Omega, motherfuckers. Kenny Omega. This guy doesn't understand wrestling whatsoever. He continues to be overly animated. I am sick of this. I mean, I feel like this match, he did it even more. Maybe it was just more visible because the match was longer. But there was a point where he hit like one of the 17 V-triggers that he hit, where he did a taunt before the V-trigger, and then did not one, but two taunts, right? Right after the V-trigger, you know what I'm saying? And then he tried to do a move that was countered. So, I mean, you know, that right there just ruins the match. You know, Pac did pretty good. I gotta give props where props are due, right? But at the same time, I have to take away points from AEW, because here's the facts, right? I've been saying this for months now. I mean, I've been saying it for years, but I've been saying it for months here on the Hater channel, right? And what I've been saying is actually very, very simple, right? You know, when I talk about the people that I call the mid-card jobbers, right? So I'm talking about, you know, the Buddy Murphys, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, fucking like Sammy Guevara, you know, put the Pac as one of them, you know what I mean? Mustafa Ali, these guys. They're all like fucking Mansoor from Saudi Arabia. They're all the same guy, right? They're completely interchangeable, you know? Like, part of me is thinking, you know, considering that Mansoor and Ricochet are completely interchangeable, why not have Mansoor versus Brock Lesnar, right? And just give Mansoor like, you know, 5-6 minutes of like, oh my God, can this kid actually do it? And then Brock beats him in Saudi Arabia, and that gets a reaction. Now, fans are gonna boo. They might actually cheer, because let's be real, they probably like Brock Lesnar more than Mansoor. But I'm thinking to myself, why would you do this with Ricochet? Just give it to Mansoor. You know, you're in Saudi Arabia, you want to pander to them, just do that, right? But the greater point here is that these people are completely interchangeable, right? So taking that into account, right? Like, I put Kenny Omega in that same list of mid-card jobbers, right? So, you know, Kenny Omega comes from New Japan, where he's like the #1 wrestler, whereas Pac is like the number 1,000th wrestler when he was in WWE, because, you know, he was in the card below people like Arya Davari. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a jobber, right? He was a cruiserweight jobber. But now he's a big-time star in AEW, right? Which brings forth the reality of what I've been saying, motherfuckers. It proves it beyond a reasonable doubt, right? It shows that you can take someone like Pac, you can take someone like Ali and put him in the main event in AEW, because the standards are very low. Now, with that being said, not to take anything away from Pac, because he actually is legit. You know what I mean? Like, out of these mid-card jobbers, he's definitely one of the better ones. You know, like, he's probably on the level of Angel Garza. You know what I'm saying? But he definitely stood out compared to Kenny Omega, who's the big star. He stood out. Kenny Omega sucks. He doesn't have many moves. You know what I mean? That's why he has this over-reliance on taunts to get a reaction and running knees. You know, this guy, like, just all he does is running knees and then the one-winged angel. And then everything else he does is like a bullshit move. You know, a Kotaro Crusher. It's just a fucking bulldog. You know, like, that's my biggest concern with Kenny Omega, is that, like, he has moves that are like moves that people usually shit on, right? But when he does them, they're considered better. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The one-winged angel is essentially a glorified attitude adjustment, you know? I don't care that he puts him up in an electric chair first, right? Before he slams him down, he grabs the guy's head and curls him in a very similar position to the fireman's carry and drops him kind of like on his head, quote unquote, but more so his back, right? That's what it is. It's just an attitude adjustment where he falls forward and spreads his legs, you know, like a wanting broad. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing about Kenny Omega. The match itself was all right, you know. Pac, at a certain point, got a chair, and he hit Kenny Omega with the chair, which caused a DQ. And then, what's it called? Kenny Omega then gets a 20-second reprieve, if you will, right? Which is, I mean, come on, man, you know, like 20 seconds? Like, what the, that's, you might as well make it 0. What the hell's 20 seconds? It's nothing, you know? Like, so he hits him with the chair twice, right? For some reason, the Young Cucks are in ringside. And they're not, like, passively in ringside. They're like cheerleaders. Like, they are, like, one of the focal points of this match, which I did not like because it furthers my theory that the entire existence of AEW is there just to put over the Young Cucks, Kenny Omega, to a lesser degree, Adam Page, and of course, Cucky Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? And their friends and family. That's what it is. It's like their friends and family. All these Japanese broads are like friends of Kenny Omega's from Japan, right? They have that Dungeons and Dragons guy whose name is Steve Cutler, Brandon Cutler, whatever his name is. They have that asshole, right? They have all these people that are just like friends, and they're like, oh, let's pull a commercial with our friends. Wouldn't that be great? No, it wouldn't be great. It would be fucking stupid. But anyways, so after, like, this match put me to sleep. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm very tired because I woke up at 3. But this match, I turned my heat on. Typically, I like it cold, but I turned the heat on, and I passed out. But I woke up, and I rewinded it, right? And I saw, because when I woke up, it was 1-1. So I saw that, you know, Kenny Omega won the first fall by DQ. And the announcers are like, oh, this is the first DQ in the history of AEW. And I'm just like, oh, that's kind of, I mean, I started trying to think of, like, other matches that ended in DQ. And I don't think there are any. You know, that's actually a good point. That's actually a positive. You know, they don't end matches in DQs. But then I thought about it a little bit longer, and I was like, all right, they don't end matches in DQs, right? But that doesn't matter. They end matches in ways that are similar to DQs. Like, every Riho match ends with a roll-up, which, in my opinion, is just as bad as a DQ. You know, like, people talk about clean wins, but in my opinion, a roll-up win, I mean, it's a clean win kayfabe-wise, but in reality, it's like you didn't really prove yourself. You know what I mean? Like a roll-up win, for example, in the Cucky Rhodes versus MJ Cuck match, like, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't make any sense. If someone won in that method, you know, you'd be like, what the fuck? That doesn't make sense, right? That's not a pay-per-view way to finish it. That's why the Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda Rousey match got so much shit, because it ended with a roll-up, basically, with like a crucifix pin, I think it was, right? It's a main event at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, there's matches at WrestleMania that have not been main events, like Michaels versus Ric Flair, that have ended in, like, the most epic of fashions. You know what I mean? Or Undertaker versus Michaels, or like a bunch of other matches, even Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle, you know? Like, Brock Lesnar understood that because this is WrestleMania, right? And he's like, I want to fucking pull out a shooting star press. He botched it, yeah, but he knew he had to pull it out, right? Something special has to happen at WrestleMania, right? Just like something special has to happen at pay-per-views. But in this match, not much happened that was special. There was a few Pac spots. You know, he hit the black arrow to get the win, to get the pin, right? Then it was 1-1. After that, Pac, I thought he was going to miss, but he hit a shooting star press from the top rope to the outside onto a table onto Kenny Omega. Now, he missed it a little bit, but it still worked well, you know? So I'm thinking to myself, at this point, the fact that Pac is wrestling the way he's wrestling, he's doing all these like legit spots, you know, he's wrestling like a face almost, right? Even though he's the heel, I like him. I want him to win. You know what I mean? I don't want Kenny Omega to win, especially considering he's got those two little cuck cheerleaders outside the Young Cucks. It's so stupid, right? It really came off as if Kenny Omega should not have been, by no means necessary, should Kenny Omega have been billed as like the face of this match, right? But long story short, the match ends. Pac puts the brutalizer on Kenny Omega for about 5 years, right? And the clock goes to 0, right? Which ends the match in a draw. In frustration, Pac elbows the referee, right? And Aubrey Edwards comes out. Now, I'm going to talk about that separately, but let's finish talking about this match, right? So then after that, Justin Roberts declares that it's going to be a sudden death match, and then Kenny Omega hits like 3 bicycle knees. Or he hits like 1 V-trigger, like a normal one. Then he hits like the ripcord V-trigger. Then he hits a Kamigoye, which you can call them what you want. They're fucking knee strikes. That's what they are. It's just knee strikes, right? He hits 3 knee strikes, and the one-winged angel and pins Pac clean, right? Now, here's the problem with this, right? We've seen this match, and when we saw it the first time, it was better. It's called Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit, motherfucks. That match was insane. It was a submission Iron Man match, basically. I think it was 30 minutes as well. Maybe it was 15. I think it was 30, right? That match was so much better because I think it was tied to like 3-3. Benoit and Angle 3-3, and like Angle was up like 3-1. Benoit gets 2 submissions, and then Angle slaps on the ankle lock, right? And Benoit taps after the bell rings because the time is up, right? So even though Benoit, like Kurt Angle came out looking strong because he made Benoit tap, right? If sudden death didn't involve this ridiculous reset for some reason, right? Kurt Angle would have won fair and square. But then the match gets restarted. Benoit slaps on the crossface and wins, right? So we've already seen this match. So it's like, and I kind of had a feeling that it was going to end up in a tie just to make them both look strong. And if that's what you're going to do, just tell me in advance so I can just pause, go get on the WWE Network and watch that classic match between Benoit and Angle. You know what I mean? Like, which was much, much better, right? Yeah, what else? Once again, the Young Bucks were just there the whole time. And there was a certain point after the Shooting Star Press where Pac is trying to get a count-out victory, right? A count-out point, if you will. And Kenny Omega's, like, he doesn't beat the count, really, right? It's like 9 and the ref just stops counting. And then Matt Jackson, or whatever, the Matt Hardy Jackson, like, pushes him in, right? And JR acknowledges this. He's like, oh, like, he got help from Matt Jackson. And the other, the 2 other announcers are like, oh, yeah, they're trying to downplay the fact that, like, basically Kenny Omega cheated, Like, Pac beat him, fairness, under the rules of the match, he beat him, right? He outmaneuvered him, he outthought him, right? But because he had his 2 cheerleaders out there, it happened how it happened. Now, after the match was over, right, what's it called? Pac came out, he's going to do an interview with Tony Schiavone. Orange Cassidy comes out for no reason whatsoever, and Pac, in my opinion, justifiably attacks this nerd, right? Because it's like, why are you coming out here? Like, I just lost a match. Like, imagine that happening in any other sport, right? Like, it would justify a beating, Imagine, like, someone wins the World Cup, right? And they leave, and the loser is going to be interviewed. Like, oh, you lost. And then, like, I don't know, team 31, ranked 31, like North Korea or something, or Iran, comes out and is like, like, I'm here too. Go fuck yourself, So, but now let's talk just a little bit, about Aubrey Edwards, right? Now, here's my issue with Aubrey Edwards. I have no real issue with her being a ref or being a female. I don't care. If you want to have a broad referee, have a broad referee. I'm all for it, man. But what I don't like is the fact that she is, quote unquote, over with these white knight fans, right? Now, my theory on this, and this is why, if you haven't yet, motherfucks, I suggest you watch the video that I'm putting down in the description, up in this bitch, right? So you can go and understand further what I'm getting at, right? Now, these neckbeard fans, they like, in my opinion, they like Aubrey Edwards, not because they want to bang her. I mean, I'm sure most of them do because, let's be real, right? A lot of fans were dressed like Orange Cassidy, by the way, which is fucking weird because Orange Cassidy dresses on purpose like Ryan Gosling. It's clear, right? He kind of has the same haircut. Not kind of, he has the same haircut. He wears the shirt with himself on the shirt, which was like a running gag between Ryan Gosling and what Home Alone boy, whatever his name is, Macaulay Culkin. There it is, right? So he's obviously, he's like a ripoff of Ryan Gosling. That's kind of the point, right? And these fans dress like Orange Cassidy, unknowingly dressing like Ryan Gosling. I was gonna say Ryan Reynolds for a second. Do we really need both those motherfuckers? We don't. But anyways, so the fact that Aubrey Edwards is she gets this pop, like people start chanting Aubrey, as if like as if she's better than the other referee or something. You know what I mean? Like, she's not. He's not better than him kayfabe-wise. She's not better than him in reality, right? So, like, but she's treated as being better because she's a woman. And you know what? Fine. She's breaking barriers. Do it. But here's the problem, motherfucks. Here's the problem that I have, right? The implications to me, right, are not necessarily like, oh, like I want to bang Aubrey Edwards, which I'm sure is there too, like I said. But the implications are, and this was kind of furthered into my mind because it shows this vignette for some bullshit show they probably have on YouTube, where it's like, it's Tony Schiavone and Aubrey Edwards like looking at highlights or something, right? And at a certain point, Tony Schiavone and Aubrey Edwards like do a fist bump, right? To sell their partnership, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of like what I'm getting at, right? Like Aubrey Edwards is presented as if she's like one of the dudes, you know, like she's like the cool chick that can hang with one of the guys. So that's why all the guys like her, right? Now, here's the problem with that. All the AEW fans, right, barring a few, I'm not saying, perhaps not all of them, but like 97%, right? They're not dudes, right? They're not dudes. So like they don't have, in my opinion, the credibility to be like, oh, she's one of the guys. They're a bunch of fat asses and people that are just like Scooby-Doo and Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. They're not cool people, right? So like for them to accept Aubrey, it's not this achievement of like, oh, Aubrey, you're one of the guys. She doesn't want to be one of the guys. Why the fuck would anyone want to be one of the guys? It's the same thing with Val Venus when Cody's like, oh, he just wants exposure. Why the fuck would Val Venus want to be associated with a guy who just like Scooby-Doo in 2 shows in a row and a guy named Orange Cassidy? You know what I mean? So that's kind of the problem that I have with Aubrey Edwards. It's the fact that this is forced, right? And the fans like react that way because they think they're supposed to react that way, right? They've been told through subliminal messaging, basically, right? They've been told, oh, look, a female referee, we're pioneers. So they've been told that this is cool, even though it's not cool. It's neutral. It's not bad either. I don't care that she's a girl, but it's not cool, you know? And they present her as if she's like the best referee. They have Earl Hebner there, you know? Like easily the most legendary referee of all time. And she's like, oh, I'm Girl Hebner. I'm Girl Hebner. Are you? Are you really, sweetheart? I don't know. Then, after that, we had Out and Proud and Gavari come out to face the Retards, which is my new name for the Jurassic Express because these guys are retarded, right? Now, I will give credit where credit's due. Both these teams, including the Inner Circle, feel like trios, right? They're doing moves off each other, right? They have some sort of chemistry with each other. So I will give props to that. And I also will give props to the fact that because the first match was so long, this match was short and quick, right? Which I think is better than having these long, drawn-out matches, right? Which is another criticism of the Iron Man match because it's like it's presented as if it's like this big deal, but you have 30-minute matches or 25-minute matches all the time. It's not this like rarity, you know what I mean? Like in WWE, it's a rarity because back in the day, matches were like 9 to 12 minutes, and the Iron Man match was 1 hour, right? It's substantially longer than an average match. But this bullshit half-ass Iron Man match, right, is only marginally longer than a normal match. Some of the matches they've had for like the world title have a 1 hour time limit, you know, and they've gone like 40 minutes. So it loses that gravitas, right? Now, Out and Proud, they did all right, you know, like Jurassic Express did all right too. Like, I mean, I have to say it like it is. Like Marco Stunt, I don't like him, you know what I'm saying? But considering what he is, he does a good job of being what he is, which is a tiny, tiny person, right, who does cuck things and cuck moves, right? Now, my biggest gripe with this match and these 6 wrestlers is unfortunately going to have to be, that's right, motherfucks, Luchasaurus. Here's why, right? Back in the day, when everyone stopped watching TNA, when TNA stopped being good, like, unanimously, right, they started making some significantly horrible decisions. One of the worst decisions they made was that Jeff Hardy was kayfabe injured, and they started showing these vignettes of a character named Willow. Right now, I like these vignettes. It shows this like abandoned house. It's like a barn almost, right? I'm pretty sure Bray Wyatt stole it from that. And it shows like Willow, who's Jeff Hardy in a mask, and he's doing creepy shit, right? But it's like legit creepy. It's not like Jeff Hardy creepy. It's not goofy. It's like holy shit, like this is like some evil force, right? But the problem is like I didn't know that Jeff Hardy used to be Will-O-the-Wisp back in the day. So I Googled it and I found out it was Jeff Hardy. And then once I found out, when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's obviously Jeff Hardy, right? But when he had his first match, you can't hide the fact that it's Jeff Hardy because he's got the Jeff Hardy tattoos, he's got the Jeff Hardy body type, and he has the Jeff Hardy wrestling style, which is like kind of distinct, like the way he does his kicks and things like that, right? So it's clearly Jeff Hardy. So immediately Taz is like, oh, this is Jeff Hardy's alter ego. So they immediately squash this whatever fucking plan they had with Willow. Now, I'm not upset that they ruined the wonderful character of Willow. Who gives a fuck about Willow? But the point was this, that TNA at the time made a huge mistake in taking one of their only recognizable stars, Jeff Hardy, and instead of promoting Jeff Hardy, they're like, no, you know what, we're going to repackage him as Willow. They did the same thing with Abyss and Joseph Park, which some people liked, some people didn't like. I thought it was stupid myself, right? But like everyone knew, you know, it's like, but not everyone knows, right? Not everyone knows. Like if you're watching some vignette of Willow, you're like, oh, this kind of sucks, right? You might like it, you might hate it. But the fact is, you might tune in to see Jeff Hardy, but you won't because you don't know that Willow is Jeff Hardy right away, right? So it's these kind of mistakes that are being repeated, in my opinion, in AEW, right? Clearly, Luchasaurus is a guy that has tremendous upside, right? In my opinion, he needs to stop doing these kicks and flips, right? Because he's so big that he has to pull back his kicks so he doesn't destroy these jobbers, right? But he's a powerful guy. He looks like a beast, you know? So he is being held back significantly by his dumbass gimmick and his dumbass mask, right? It's the same thing as Willow. You know, you have a guy that could be a star, and instead of making him a star, you focus on Goldust, and you make this guy a dinosaur. You know, wouldn't Goldust make the more convincing dinosaur, considering that he's an old bag? That could have been part of the haha gimmick, you know what I mean? Luchasaurus is just like a retard. That's why, in my opinion, now the Jurassic Express should be referred to only as the retards. It's like, what is this? What is the logic behind this, right? If this happened in WWE, at least Michael Cole would be telling you how the Jurassic Express loves to have fun, you know, to explain why 3 grown men or 2 grown men and a little boy named Marco Stunt are acting like one of them is a dinosaur, one of them is from the jungle, and the other one is just a small guy, you know, like why are they doing this, you know? Why is Luchasaurus dressed like Luchasaurus? Can you explain to me, right? It doesn't have to be this intricate explanation, you know? It could be something as simple as Luchasaurus likes to have fun, Maggle, right? It can be that. That's fine. You know, but explain something to me, you know? That's the problem, motherfuckers. So then we had, during the match was pretty decent. Basically what happened was, in the end, Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy are left there, right? So I'm thinking to myself, Jungle Boy's going to win because, you know, they like Jungle Boy and he never wins. So this year they're going to, like, have him win a little bit. But I don't understand. Like, Sammy Guevara is supposed to be this protege, right? He's like the Randy Orton of Inner Circle, so it's like he should be winning a match here and there at least, right? Certainly against Jungle Boy, right? But they did it. They did a good job. Darby Allin comes out and pulls away Sammy Guevara's sock with baseballs in it, aka tennis balls in it, right? This distracted him enough for him to turn around. Jungle Boy hits like a Hurricane Rana basically and pins him with that. It would have been better if Jungle Boy had an actual finisher, like a good one. But whatever, this will do, right? Now, here's the thing about this, right? Here's the real problem I had with this. The match was good, like I said, but when Darby Allin comes out, Taz, who's on commentary, I didn't realize he was on commentary in the beginning, but Taz, who's on commentary, he says, "Oh my God, who is that? It's not Darby Allin?" And I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Obviously, it's Darby Allin. He's not this ambiguous-looking guy. He's a dude that wears see-through, like, bondage shirts and booty shorts with tights. You know what I'm saying? And he has, like, a half-painted face, and he has blonde hair. Who do you think it was? Goldust? Oh, is that Darby Allin? No, it's Jack Swagger. It's the Big Hurt. What the fuck? It's so stupid, right? It's like, that the whole who is that guy can and should only be used in 2 scenarios. 1, the lights go out and you don't know what the fuck's happening. Or 2, a new person is being introduced. So when the Shield came, they're like, oh, who are these guys? And then Matt Cole's like, oh my God, that's Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins from NXT, right? So this was really like ineffective. I like Taz as an announcer, but this was bullshit. Then we had this week's Who Gives a Rat's Ass match of the week, which was Butch and Bottom versus the Best Friends. Now, the Butch and Bottom experiment has exhausted itself. These guys came in and attacked Cody, and they were presented as this heelish force that was dominant, right? But since then, I think they've gone on to lose all, if not all, their matches. I'm sure they won a match here and there, maybe some 8-man tag, right? But insofar as their tag matches go, I believe they've lost all of them, cucks. Now, that made me realize they're going to lose this match too, right? Now, pause, right? Halfway through the match, we have the obligatory Orange Cassidy spot. This time he's joined by the Bunny, right? Which brings the question forward of, what's the point of signing the Bunny? I forgot her real name now. But what's the point of signing this broad if all she's going to do is just dress like a bunny? You know, it doesn't make any sense. It's a waste of money, in my opinion. She comes into the ring. Orange Cassidy is going to put his hands in his pocket. Mind you, this is in the middle of a match. She prevents him from doing it, steals his glasses, tries to low blow him. Orange Cassidy blocks the low blow, steals her bunny ears, and puts them on, labeling himself a sissy once again, right? Then he tries to swing at him, misses. This makes Blade, Bottom as we call him, Bottom. He tries to attack Orange Cassidy. Cassidy ducks. He almost wipes out Allie. Her name just came to me. He almost wipes out Allie, right? Now, and he stops though. He's like, oh, I don't want to attack Allie. She's like my valet, right? Now, when this happened, I had the brilliant idea of, what if you had a tag team like Butch and Bottom would be good for this gimmick that I've invented right now, right? The gimmick is, you have a tag team who has a valet and doesn't care. Not doesn't care like Test and Scott Steiner would like abuse Stacy Keibler, but doesn't care in the sense that like if Blade were to run into Bunny, right, and like not care, be like, all right, the match is still continuing, that would sell this ruthlessness, right? But when they come out and they call themselves Butch and Bottom, and they come out and their mannerisms and their motivations are the same as every tag team, right? That makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like, you have an opportunity to do something with that, and you don't do it because you ain't creative enough, motherfuckers. You ain't creative enough. This allows Orange Cassidy to throw one of them outside and do like his little hands in the pockets dive, right? Which frees up the best friends to hit the strong zero onto the other one and pin him clean. Now, real quick tangent. Strong zero is a alcohol infused soda. It comes in various flavors. My favorite is orange. And I had that in Japan because when I visited Japan, because I knew that the Strong Zero was the finisher of Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta because I'm a fucking nerd, right? And I was going to go buy a drink at the convenience store. I see Strong Zero. Let's try it out. Man, you know, this was before I quit drinking, but let me tell you, motherfuckers. You know, me and these guys that I met, we ended up going to Shibuya in Tokyo to a club, and you can drink in the trains there. And I got 3 like tall boys, basically like tall cans of Strong Zero, and I drank those motherfucks, and then I got fucked up in the club, right? So if you're ever in Japan, try Strong Zero. Anyways, yeah, the whole point of Butch and Bottom is like they should be released now. It's ridiculous, right? Then they announced at the pay-per-view it will be Pac versus what's it called? Orange Cassidy. Now, in my opinion, it would have been better to have Orange Cassidy versus Pac tonight and build it like last week, and then have the match we've been building up at the pay-per-view. And it wouldn't have to be an Iron Man match because you wouldn't have enough time probably, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Now, Pac wanted his rematch. He got it. He lost. So now he's just going to go after Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, right? The story of the match it seems to be that Orange Cassidy has never tried, right? So Chuck Taylor was like, this time he's going to try, right? I think the fans started chanting, please don't try. Maybe they started chanting, please go try. I don't know. Who the fuck cares, right? But would it be kind of cool? I mean, it wouldn't be because Pac has been booked so strong, but it'd be kind of nice if like the match starts and Orange Cassidy tries, and it turns out that he's like this incredibly talented like wrestler, right? Who is capable of winning, and his gimmick is just like, yo man, I'm capable of doing this and hanging with the best, but I just don't give a shit, you know? That's the only way this character can work, because otherwise the question becomes, why the fuck would he still be employed if he's not trying, right? When they first started AEW, Cucky Rhodes declared, who wasn't on the show tonight, that's why the show was above average. Cucky Rhodes declared that it would have a real sports feel. Let me tell you, motherfuckers, there's no real sports feel out there when you have Rio kicking out of 17,000 moves from Nyla Rose. There is no real sports feel when you have fucking, what's his face, Marco Stunt wrestling people 5 times his size. There is no real sports feel where every week you have an Orange Cassidy match. You know, there has to be some consistency up in this bitch. Next up, we had a women's 4-way match for absolutely no reason. It was Shayna, who I think she has 1 win in some like tag match, Otherwise, she's never won anything in her life. She came out dressed like Goku, you know. Then we had Riho. She came out, but now they call her Yuka Sakazaki, you know, and now she's got a gimmick where she wears genie pants and is an anime character and mimes and cheers the opponents. Then you had Big Swole, who, all right, I see something there. I'm not saying Big Swole's great, but I see something there in Big Swole. You know, she's got a certain flair to her. You know, she's got like a swag, right? So, and then we had, of course, Hikaru Shida, who was the only one there that's attractive, and that's why she won, and I'm glad she did because she's attractive, motherfuckers. But the problem with Hikaru Shida is that she also is a Riho. She wrestles like Riho. She has a running knee finisher. How many of these broads are going to have a running knee or running double knee finishers, you know? That's all they do, these Japanese wrestlers. All they do is running knees or roll-ups. That's all they do, man. They don't have any other moves. You know, so it's kind of boring, but she's attractive, so I like her. I would have her ditch the stupid ass. She comes out like a samurai or like a ninja or some shit. Just have her be a normal girl. Like, why don't they just do this one time? Just do it one time for me, you know? Take a Japanese girl and don't present her as a Japanese girl. Just present her as a girl, you know? I guess the closest they've got to this is Io Shirai, whom I haven't heard of in like months, but someone like that, you know? Like, you take Io Shirai, you dress her up nice and sexy, and she comes out and wrestles. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't come out in a kimono. She doesn't come out like the Empress of Tomorrow or Kairi saying the Pirate Princess. Like all these stereotypical goofy-ass gimmicks, you know? Just make her this hot broad who just happens to be Japanese, right? Kind of like the way I envision it is like Gail Kim, for example, right? I mean, she's not Japanese. She's like Korean, Canadian, but she's Asian, right? So she easily could have been booked as an Asian stereotype because that's how they do. You know what I mean? Jimmy Wang Yang wasn't like, he was from like South Carolina, right? And then it took a while before they made him like the Asian redneck, right? But before that, he was like fucking Yang or whatever he was Yang of the Young Dragons. You know, he had a stereotypical, and then he was Akio with Tajiri. They made him Japanese, you know? Like, so he was plagued with these stereotypical gimmicks. But it's like, why don't you just present these people as normal people once in a while, you know? Like, even Nakamura, who's not, like, stereotypically Japanese, he's still weird. You know what I mean? He's still weird. Hideo Itami, stereotypically Japanese. He has, like, a lot of strikes in his moveset, and he's all about honor and, you know, like, that kind of bullshit, right? How about just bring someone out there? Like, that's why people like Jimmy Wang Yang were so great. That's why people like Gail Kim are great, because sometimes you expect one thing from them, and then you expect something else. It's like that X Factor audition where it's like this young black guy and his whole family's there, right? And they're like, what are you going to sing? And he's like, oh, I'm going to sing one of my favorite songs. So, you know, in your little hind brain, you know, you're like, oh, he's a black guy. He's probably going to sing R&B or something, right? Because every black guy on X Factor either raps or sings R&B. Then he sings this like deep-voiced country song, right? And everyone starts losing their minds because their expectations have been blown, motherfuckers. This is what sells. But I'm not here to give free advice to AEW. They should pay me for this. Yeah. So after that, we had, I think, my favorite segment of the night, honestly. It was an interview with the Young Cucks and Kenny Omega and Adam Page. But it was my favorite for the reasons that they did not intend, right? Like, the implications here are that Adam Page has a drinking problem. You know what I mean? Because he's always drinking. And Matt Jackson says to him, again, watch the video I made yesterday for a great example of this. But he says to him, condescendingly, like, in this passive-aggressive tone, like, did you have to bring a drink out there? Right? Like, basically saying, like, yo, you're an alcoholic, right? It's a fucked up thing to do to your friend or to anybody, right? And Adam Page is, like, justifiably upset because JR sits with him and he says, you know, despite the fact that these two motherfucks are the tag champions, I think the Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world. And then he asks the Young Bucks a question like, well, how come you guys haven't become tag champions yet, right? As if, like, that's the foregone conclusion. It's like the Young Bucks should be tag champs, right? And why haven't you done it yet, right? Well, the answer is, JR, if you've been watching the show, the answer is because they lose. They lose to the teams that are champions. That's why they're not champions. It's very fucking simple, Jim Rouse, right? And then, like, the Young Bucks kind of put themselves over. They're like, you know, like, wow, we think we are the best tag team, right? Like, Kenny and Adam, they're all right, and, you know, like, but, you know, we're taking those belts, right? And then Kenny Omega doesn't back up his partner or his team, and he's like, you know, you guys are the best, you inspire me, all this kind of, like, bullshit, right? Now, this was intended to be this, like, oh, isn't Adam Page, like, an outcast type, right? But I actually agree with Adam Page on this one, motherfucks, because Adam Page is like, well, wait a second, so it's a fluke? Like his argument is, my greatest accomplishment of my career is a fluke? Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? Especially considering that Adam Page, I believe that was a title match where he pretty much won the match by himself. Kenny Omega was out of the ring. He just destroyed the two guys, SCU, and he won. You know what I mean? So it's like, he's like, well, wait a second, man. Why are you trying to, call it a fluke, right? And then, like, the young cucks are like, oh, we're all the elite. The elite are friends, right? And he's like, yeah, I've been trying to leave the elite, motherfucks, but you won't let me. And then all of a sudden, the young bucks are like, you used to be a jobber in ROH until we made you a star. And I'm like, whoa, dog. Like, I understand that Adam Page is going to be this, like, heelish type, right? But he's going to be the one that turns. But the reality is what it is, man. He's the face here, motherfucks. He's the face here. But aside from that, I do have one criticism. One of my friends was saying that apparently the character of Adam Page is this, like, anxiety-having cowboy, like, millennial cowboy, right? This insecure, I think that's the word, insecure millennial cowboy. And my friend was like, oh, I can relate to that because it's, like, modern. I'm like, oh, my God, right? Again, please watch the video that I made in the description, cucks. Now, the problem with that is this, right? This is a clear derivative of the Stone Cold gimmick, right? A guy who drinks beer and doesn't really care about the rules, doesn't really, like, sit down for interviews, is always angry, right? But the problem is that the entire charm of Stone Cold is that he's not insecure. That Stone Cold is out there ready to take an ass whooping every week because he's going to dish it out to you again. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get you the next time, right? And he just drinks, doesn't care, no remorse. His name is Stone Cold, motherfuckers. He's cold-blooded, right? It's just like when The Rock used to say, he used to just sit down and he used to be like, this isn't the first or the last time The Rock got his ass whooped. So, whatever, right? I'm The Rock. I don't care. Like, I'm here to fight, right? So whereas Adam Page is like, I don't know what to do. Who am I? What's my purpose? Shut up. Like, figure it out. Your purpose is to beat the shit out of these jobbers, hopefully. Right? Then, after this, we had a segment that I expected nothing out of, but it actually was all right. Like, it wasn't too bad, right? It was the weigh-in. Now, when I say it wasn't too bad, all I'm saying is I expected 0, and it was like a 2 out of 10. It still was overall bad. Because, first of all, why do they have a weigh-in, right? This is not for some restrictive weight class, right? Nor is it relevant. Because Jericho could come in weighing 300 pounds, and it wouldn't matter, right? He wouldn't be disqualified. There's no upper limit. In other sports, like in UFC, I think the upper limit for heavyweights is 265, right? I think that's the heaviest you can be as a heavyweight, right? You have to make 265, right? So, like, you do the weigh-in to make sure that you make the weight, right? And at the same time, you use the weigh-in to put over the match, right? And with lower weight classes, it really is a challenge to make, let's say, 171, right? You have to make 170, so you can be 171 because they have that 1 pound margin of error, right? There's some actual drama. It's like, did he make the cut? So there you have it, motherfucks. That was already stupid. To make matters worse, they introduced this guy who's supposed to be this legendary ring announcer. I've never heard of this motherfucker before in my life, but whatever, so be it. He wasn't even that good, and Jericho pointed it out. They come out, Jericho comes out, they have like ring girls. It's very, very corny. They have ring girls, they got like the announcer, they have a scale and all that shit. Jericho comes out with like all those people, the inner circle. Dean Ambrose comes out with an eye patch that doesn't fit over his eye. It's a small detail, but it's these details that matter, motherfuckers. Then the announcer makes a complete gaffe. I knew this as soon as he said it. He's like, first on the scale is the champion, and it's never the case. The champion always gets weighed second. And Jericho's like, whoa. Le Champion goes last, right? So Ambrose goes up there, weighs himself. Jericho teases, like, weighing himself, takes off his scarf. It's prolonged and stupid. Then he says, Patrick Mahomes is a piece of shit, right? Which makes the crowd not really boo him. It was like half boos, half cheers, right? Because they're happy that he mentioned them, right? Then they have a brawl. Ambrose headbutts Jericho. They have a brawl. This brawl starts involving Goldust, who takes out Jack Swagger to the back. Jack Swagger low blows him and wins that brawl. Then Darby Allin comes in. Sammy Guevara wins that brawl by breaking a skateboard on his back and kneeing him in the face. And then Dean Ambrose is about to hit the paradigm shift on Jericho, but I think Santana, it had to be Santana. Santana low blows him, allowing Jericho to hit the Judas effect. Then Jericho does a paradigm shift on Ambrose on the scale to end the match. Jericho's bleeding. Now, I will say this, motherfuckers. This show did a good job of hyping up the pay-per-view. Now, I'm going to be out of town this weekend, so I'm going to go to the Big Apple, motherfuckers, to New York City for a little, weekend vacation, I suppose, right? And I'll probably be missing this because I'm going with my girlfriend, and like I'm not gonna be like, hey, let's watch AEW, you know what I mean? So there you go, right? So I mean, I'm probably gonna read about it, and then I'll watch the replay or something, whatever. My friend's probably gonna tape it, right? And I'll watch it and I'll review it on Sunday. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not gonna be able to review it that night. Now, despite that, I would like to see it. You know what I mean? There are enough matches there that compel me. You know what I mean? I hate to give credit to AEW, but they did something right. Like, I don't care about the Exalted One. It's obviously Christopher Daniels. I don't care about fucking, like, Orange Cassidy. I don't care about that. But I do want to see whether Adam Page turns heel. I'm curious to see that. Actually, that's the only thing I care about. I don't really care about anything else, right? And I think that it'd be interesting to see if MJF has a good match, because I don't think he's had any like long matches. So I just want to see if he's as good as people say he is. I am gonna assume he's not. So, and if I'm being honest, I fucking hate to admit this, but I'm curious to see who's gonna win. Like that actually is an unpredictable match. Now I don't know. Is it gonna be Cody or is it gonna be MJF? I could see it going either way. The same thing with the main event, kind of, and the tag match. I could see it going either way. And typically that's not the case. So I give props to AEW for picking it up this last week. And, getting ready for the pay-per-view, just motherfuckers, just listen to this, right? Just because I dislike AEW and the product overall does not mean that I want to see them fail. When I make a video that says AEW is failing, that's not what I want. What I want is for AEW to be good. What I want is for NXT to be good. What I want is for Raw to be good, motherfucks. I want wrestling to be good so I can enjoy it. It's just, the problem is, I'm not going to pretend it's good like some of these other cucks, like that asshole, like, what was it, like Brian saying, oh, everything's great. And it's not great. It's garbage, right? If it were great, we would say it was great, right? I think I speak for almost everyone, right? There might be a person here and there who just hates, like, they might just hate how AEW is structured, right? But I think everyone, if AEW was structured better, right, everyone would like it. If it was well done, people would like it. If it wasn't centered around these jobbers, people would like it, Now they, like, here's another thing. Like, they signed Lance Archer, right? And my friend texted me, he's like, AEW signed Lance Archer. And I'm like, what? Who gives a fuck? And I sent him, like, the entrance, video of Vance Archer when he was in Velocity, when he was a Velocity jobber. And I am not exaggerating when I say that they are scraping the bottom of the barrel. And don't give me this, oh, Lance Archer reinvented himself. Well, no, he didn't. Honestly, you can't reinvent yourself in Japan. You can't. Because no one there has a gimmick, right? Maybe Naito, you can make an argument. But no one there has a gimmick. Everyone is just a wrestler. So it's like, especially if you're an American or any non-Japanese, or as they call them, gaijin motherfucks, right? If you're any non-Japanese, you're not going to have a character. Because your character is going to be, you're the foreign guy. You're like, Juice Robinson and Vance Archer are the Nakamura and Tozawa of New Japan. Like, they're the foreign guy who people are like, oh, okay, cool, we got a foreign guy in here. That's the thing, cucks. You know what I'm saying? So, there you have it. Vance Archer's coming back. We forgot about Jeff Cobb already. People are like, oh, I hope that Jeff Cobb's contract allows him to wrestle for indie midget wrestling. And I'm like, who the fuck cares? You're not going to watch that shit. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And also Jeff Cobb, who I liked, I've seen a match here and there. When I saw him this time, I'm like, this guy looks like Rhino. He's shaped like a chode, except he's not believable like Rhino is, because Rhino's bigger than him. And Rhino's finisher makes sense. This guy, like, he's strong, but he's built like a chode, which they just call that having a low center of gravity. I call it being short and stocky, motherfucks. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it. I mean, if you're gonna push them, but you can't, like, if you're gonna have 2 hours of a show, you can't afford to leave this many people out. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have some of these people on the card, man. Like, apparently in AEW Dark, we have Billy Gunn and his son, like Stevie Gunn, whatever the fuck his name is, right? It's like a smaller, less charismatic Billy Gunn. You know what I'm saying? And like Billy Gunn would whoop his ass still. So there you have it, motherfuckers. That's what I gotta say about that. This episode of AEW gets, I was gonna give it a 4, but it definitely gets a 5 or a 6. I mean, I gotta be honest. I mean, this was this was a decent show. I was entertained. I attribute most of it to the fact that Cody Rhodes wasn't there, right? But it can't be higher than a 5 or a 6 just because of the same gripes that I always have, which is Kenny Omega's ridiculous amounts of taunts, the inconsistent and illogical booking. I mean, the fact that some people that should wrestle didn't wrestle today, like Jericho, maybe Dean Ambrose I don't care about, but I'd love to see Jericho, like it just, and also I hate to sound like a cliche cut, but I mean, how many fucking 6-man tag match, how many multi-person matches can you have? This episode, that's not very fair because they had like a 30-minute Iron Man match. But beyond that, it's like, come on, now, I ain't got time for that shit. So there you go, motherfuckers. Stay dirty. Watch this video. Like this video. Subscribe to The Hater. And watch the video in the description. I will also put my email. I might not put it. The email is indiewrestlingsucks@gmail.com. I'm already getting plenty of emails. So, I feel like everyone that wants to know knows. But I'll put it down there eventually. Maybe this time, maybe next time. I don't know. Cucks? But anyways, on the agenda. Oh, shit. Tomorrow we have... Oh, yeah. So tomorrow expect a video. I got to do laundry tomorrow. So, I'll be home later in the day. Expect a video reviewing... what's it called? WWE Super Showdown. I really hope... I know, the WrestleMania card has been leaked. But I really hope that Vince McMahon does the right thing and has Goldberg destroy The Fiend. And hopefully give The Fiend a gimmick change. Change him to, I don't know, a guy that plays the piano or some bullshit. I don't care, dude. The Fiend sucks. So there you have it, motherfucks. Stay dirty. Keep watching The Hater. Like my videos. Watch my other videos. Like my other videos. Subscribe today. And join the family. Join the friends, motherfucks. And I'll see you guys around tomorrow in the video. Maybe in a live stream here and there talking shit. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it. And if anyone wants to see more... So a lot of people haven't seen it yet, and it's going to kind of get put in a black hole. But if you want to see more videos about how to get laid, this is not for my viewers. This is more for the cucks and neckbeards that might stumble upon them. How to get laid, how to be a man, motherfucks, how to get broads. Let me know if you want to see more of those. A lot of people did message me, actually, and some wrote in the comments that one guy even said it was my best video yet. And I wasn't even sure if I was going to post it because I was like, I don't know about this one. But anyways, motherfuckers, I figured I'd let the market speak for itself. Now, this video has gone on a lot longer, and I've been speaking very fast. So, man, I must have a lot to say. So, sorry about that, cucks. I think, and if people want to see shorter videos from The Hater, let me know because I can make them shorter, motherfuckers. Don't get me wrong, bitches. See ya, fucks.